So introduce yourself and what are we doing today?
So today we are actually going to take the subway from Sadang Station to Seoul Station, which is a very common station in Seoul. And we're just going to see how accessible it is while in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Getting there.
Now, Seoul Station is one of the main hubs here in Seoul. So of all the stations, it's one of the showcases that really should be as accessible as possible. And today we're going to put that to the test.
Yep.
So let's go. Got a little bump here and a steep slope. One thing about accessibility in a lot of subway stations is there will be one or two elevators that go from the ground level down to the subway station, and you kind of need to know where they are. And sometimes that means you need to take a few crosswalks to get there.
Yeah. Usually one elevator at one exit. It's normally not at every exit, and the elevators are also very small. So it's really hard to get in and out of the elevator, especially when there's people you're sharing the space with.
And sometimes the elevators are even so small that somebody pushing a wheelchair gets the door closed on them.
Yeah, it really did. The elevators are also not set to have a sensor, so if it bumps into something, it'll automatically open, like in the USA. It will actually shut on you, and it's really hard to open it. That's happened to me at the subway train. When we rolled me into the subway train, there was a gap. I literally fell out of my wheelchair, and then the subway doors closed onto my wheelchair, and I was trying to open it because my husband's on the other side and he can't get it out. Finally opens, and we're able to get the wheelchair the rest of the way in, as well as my husband. I was freaking out thinking that my wheelchair would break and I'd be left behind without a wheelchair. But thankfully that did not happen. But it is a common fear when I'm navigating through Korea when using the subways.
Still waiting for our crosswalk. Now, you've scouted this station before, so you know where the elevator is.
Yes, I do.
Or else we might have to wander every corner of this intersection to find it.
Yes, because it's also not listed in the Naver app map. We tried finding the elevator locations on the Naver map, and it doesn't show up. So we just had to roll around and try to find it. Yes, or we stuck having to take the stairs or escalators down. This is quite common. It happens a lot.
Green light. there's our elevator.
Everyone can fit.
Well, I think it's a little cozy, but we all fit.
Good.
Got the button.
Oh yeah, it just doesn't close. It all closes on its own time no matter how much you push the button. Usually it doesn't close it fast enough.
지하 1층입니다.
먼저 나가라.
문이 열립니다.
잠시만요.
And the lady just offered to let us go off first. 감사합니다. 감사합니다. So one elevator brought us underground, and now we need to find the elevator that will take us to the subway platform.
Let's get some places don't even list where the elevator is. You just have to guess and figure it out.
Yeah.
It's like going through a labyrinth.
So some of the signs, just like this sign, will tell you where the elevators are. Sometimes the station map might, and sometimes you just have to wander around.
We're going to take line 4, the light blue line to Seoul Station.
We need to take the elevator specific line for 4.
Now,
This is Lido.
the arrow sign line 4 is that way.
And
Yeah, there's the elevator.
Here's our broken gate.
And the gate's right there.
I'll scan my card to go through.
work how we run our part.
And here's our signs and our elevator down to the platforms. Take the elevator to the second basement, it brings you to subway line 2. And to the third basement, it brings you to subway line 4. And the sign also says, please let people in wheelchairs go first. And the lady carrying a lot of fruit just decided to take the escalator instead of the elevator.
Really?
Yeah, she just did.
Oh,
She picked up her stuff and moved along.
that's a first.
Squeeze in. How many people fit in here?
Really trying to squeeze
We're gonna
forward.
find out.
Well, hopefully the door will close. Yeah, so
No.
this is what it looks like in a lot of elevators in Korea.
Grabbing the bar to pull as close as possible so that we can make space
Squeeze in like sardines.
like sardines.
왜들은?
That's right.
내리실 분 계신가?
아니면
Getting to know your neighbors.
못하지.
뭐 다.
This is not it.
This is not it. This is B2. This is green line. So
다음 차 타세요. 다음 차.
못하.
They're saying it's too full, you can't get on, but they're saying I'm gonna get on anyway.
Yeah, it's literally pressing different buttons.
so more people are getting on when there's absolutely no space to fit them. But they're going to squeeze in anyways because that's the Korean way.
That is the Korean way.
Yeah, she is literally pressing against my butt right now.
As long as she doesn't pinch it, I think we're good. Oh, is it
They're
bad?
reacting. There's a big line outside waiting to get on the elevator.
They better move.
And then they need to get out of the way.
Let's see how they do it.
Check our civic spirit. Cleared a path so far. There we go. Now we're going towards, Seoul Station is on that side. So there's a sign right there that says Seoul Station is over here.
Now let's find the wheelchair.
Now we need to find the car with the wheelchair sign. There's our wheelchair sign. And now we're going to watch for the gap between the floor and the car.
Subway car. I
Because-
guarantee you it's not accessible.
Because the size of that wheel needs to be safe to get across that gap. Or a cane. And you've been saying some of the gaps are too big for a cane to safely get across.
Yeah, like you can, if I'm not careful, I have to watch. It will fall right through.
You could put your cane right between.
And when I'm trying to take a stop, it's like, oh no, I have to do it over or in the subway car. There's no between.
Yeah. And some of those gaps I've seen, they're definitely big enough that, if your foot hits it the wrong way,
Oh yeah,
It could go real badly.
It gives me anxiety because I'm always, even when I'm walking, I'm always afraid that my foot will get stuck and I'll twist my ankle and fall or get stuck. And then with the wheelchair, trying to get in, Tommy didn't see it. I did. I was like, no, and I literally got thrown off my wheelchair because of the gap. I fell onto the floor.
So like your wheel got caught in the
It
gap.
got caught. It was stuck.
And pitched
I had
you
to
forward.
Get up. No one helped me. The subway doors closed onto my wheelchair.
Mhm.
And I was freaking out, like, oh my god, I need my wheelchair.
Yes.
I'm trying to fight it, open it, and I'm freaking out because Tommy's on the other side, and if they leave, I won't have a wheelchair, and I'm on my own.
Yep. And these doors, I believe they're controlled by like the conductor, not by a sensor.
No.
So if the conductor looks at the cameras viewing the platform and sees somebody's stuck, they'll push the open button, but they don't open automatically.
No. It took, a good 10 seconds. We were fighting the door before they finally opened it.
That's
And
scary. 10
Yeah.
seconds is a lot when there's a subway.
yeah, it was not a good day. I was panicking. Because if my wheelchair becomes damaged or broken, I am forced to
You're up a
walk
creek.
with my cane,
Yeah.
and that's not good. It exacerbates my condition, and then I'll end up losing my mobility. I won't be able to walk. I'll end up crawling.
Yeah.
And it's happened before in Korea. I've actually crawled on the ground getting into the hospital because there was only steps,
Yeah.
and I had no wheelchair and I had no one to help
Sorry.
me.
there were too many steps to get into the hospital,
Yeah.
so you had to crawl into
Yeah.
the hospital.
Yeah. A woman
Wow.
across the street saw me doing this, and she came running to help me, and she made sure she went into the hospital with me,
Yeah.
up the elevator to the hospital office, and then told everyone to get my wheelchair,
Yeah.
and made sure that I was taken care of before
Yeah.
she left to go about her day.
Yeah.
I was very grateful because at that point I couldn't even stand. I was at crawling stage
Yeah.
because I didn't have a wheelchair then.
Yeah. The kindness of strangers is great, but you shouldn't need to depend on it.
No, the whole point of accessibility is independence. You don't need to depend on someone to do anything.
Yeah. Say that again, because I think that's important.
Accessibility means independence. You shouldn't have to depend on anyone to be able to do anything. You should be able to do it on your own. That is accessibility.
Yeah. And the experiment we're doing here today is basically navigating Seoul subways as a two-person job, with a person in a wheelchair and a person pushing. And even that, because it's a two-person job, isn't accessible. Here's our gap. We're getting it.
And as you can see, we're stuck.
That's the first time I've ever gotten stuck in a subway
They don't
door.
even give us enough time to get into the subway car. This happened
Yep.
to Tommy. When
If
I
you-
was able to get in, they were closing it, leaving Tommy out. My wheelchair stuck in the side door, the doors.
Yeah, if there had been one complication, then you couldn't have gotten through that door.
No. I would have been stuck or injured.
Yeah, stuck or injured or both.
And I have been injured by the elevators here and by the subway doors. And I've injured my hands. So now I have to wear gloves. If I'm rolling my wheelchair on my own, I have to have gloves because I will have cuts, bruises. This is one bruise I got.
Oh, nice.
This was having to put my wheelchair together after
Yeah.
getting out of the taxi.
Okay,
Because the taxi didn't have the space to fit my wheelchair, so we had to take my wheelchair apart and then put it back together.
Put it together again.
And I ended up injuring myself doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, one thing that you were saying earlier that was interesting to me, that I think our video audience should hear, you told me why you're not in a powered wheelchair today.
Yes.
So what's the drawback, the disadvantage of a powered wheelchair?
Powered wheelchairs are run by batteries. Batteries have so much energy, power, to let the powered wheelchair go. And every power chair is different, so the hours that battery lasts, differs.
Yeah.
And with mine, it actually doesn't do well on hills.
Yeah.
So the battery dies quicker when just a hill.
Yep.
And the issue is, if you don't know how long it's going to take you to get from point A to point B with your power chair, you literally have to plan in advance, figuring out how far you can go with your power chair to get to one place to another and make it without your wheelchair dying.
So all the stuff we were doing there, gaming out, this is the crosswalk, this is the exit, this is where the elevator is.
Yeah.
As you're doing that, fortunately we have a inexhaustible energy source here, as long as we get some food in him. But if we don't have an inexhaustible energy source, you can run out of battery because the elevator was broken down.
Yeah, or it's not available.
Or you didn't know
Don't
which
know where.
which corner of the intersection to go to first.
Yeah, because they don't tell you where. There's no map above ground to tell you where these elevators are located. And we know this because the Seoul Metro worker told us that the city of Seoul won't allow them to have maps of the subway system above ground to make it easy for people to navigate through the subway system and to locate elevators. So I was forced to get out of my wheelchair. My husband had to hold the wheelchair, take the escalator down, realize that there's more stairs. That's when the Seoul Metro worker saw us. It was from here on out, there's only stairs.
Yeah.
The elevator is at exit 1. You have to go back. That is the only way to get to the subway line.
Yeah. So Seoul Metro and Seoul City can't even get together and talk enough to put up maps of the subway stations above ground.
Yeah.
That would make it much, much easier to find those elevator entrances.
Yep. And also more accessible, even for travelers. I mean, Seoul is known for its tourism, right? They want tourism. People are not from here. How are they going to figure out how to navigate a labyrinth, which is the Seoul Subway Metro system,
Yeah.
to get from point A to point B if it's not available to tell us where we need to go, how to get there,
Yeah.
and if there's elevators around.
Yeah. Now, as your cameraman here is an able-bodied fellow, and I've always found the Seoul subway system incredibly efficient and easy to use and well marked with signs.
Yeah, that's what I thought too when I didn't need a wheelchair.
But I've never had, a knee that doesn't. And if you have a knee that doesn't, it's suddenly a very different place.
Oh yeah, it really is. It's very hard. It's exhausting.
Mhm.
It uses up a lot of my spoons that I didn't want to use up just trying to get to one place to another. And then, with power chairs, who do rely on those, it's great anxiety for them because they can get stuck and cannot get out.
Yeah, if your battery dies and you're not with somebody, then you're up a creek.
Yeah, and I have actually noticed powered wheelchairs abandoned in locations of subway stations. I guarantee you, when we get to Seoul Station, we exit out of Seoul Station, you're going to see an abandoned power chair there. That has been there since May. When did we come into Seoul? End of May, and it's still there.
Still there. Wow.
Last time I checked, so we're going to see if it's still there. I have a feeling that it's still there because the salesperson had to abandon it there.
I wonder what happened to that person.
I don't know,
Yeah.
because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And it's expensive for pushing too. Power chairs are not cheap. They're very expensive to have and to maintain.
And now we're crossing the river, the Han River. There's the 63 building. And, pretty reasonable crowded for their subway car. Almost everybody has a seat. What's the difference if you're getting onto a crowded subway car?
Oh, it's impossible. Oftentimes people will not move. That we have to yell to tell people, please, this is my stop. I need to get off my stop.
Yeah.
And it's we have to force our way through. But I don't want to injure anyone.
Yeah.
So we just yell at them in Korean, move.
Yeah.
I'm not missing my stop because of you being in my way.
Yeah. And if you don't know the Korean for please get out of the way, this is my stop,
Yeah.
that's even harder.
It's even harder, you're stuck. And that has happened. I was afraid I was going to get stuck in the subway, and I had to tell them in advance so we can
Yeah.
position ourselves at the exit of the doors, so that way
Yeah.
we can just get off as soon as it arrives. Because again, the subway does not wait very long. You have to be very quick getting
Yeah.
in and out.
And there's a bunch of people waiting to get on,
Yeah.
and sometimes they don't wait.
No, they don't. They will actually get on the
That's
subway, and then it prevents me from getting off. It makes it even harder. It happens all the time.
Seoul Station. We've got about 3 more stops.
3 stops, okay. Oh yeah, here's a sign that show that.
Here's wheelchair space. This is a designated wheelchair space. Do not put bicycles in this area. And it is pretty clearly marked. One nice thing about the wheelchair space is because there are no seats there, I've never seen somebody steal the seat. Whereas a little ways down the car, There's a seat for pregnant women, and I can't see who's sitting in there right now, but on the way to Sadang Station, there was an older gentleman, and I'm pretty sure he was not pregnant.
I mean, there are non-binary people like myself who have uteruses.
There are some uterus havers who do not look like uterus havers, but
He's old, so he should.
even if this person
Outside
was
the
a
prime.
unexpected uterus haver, he was probably menopausal.
Just nothing
He
wrong
or
with
they.
that.
Nothing wrong with that, but then the pregnant seats should probably be reserved for actual pregnant people.
Yeah. And yeah, I've had people not give up their seat. They're sitting in a disability seat and they won't get up. And a great example of it is a high school student in HBC in Taiwan. We were waiting for the bus. He saw me. He still went into the bus. I was the last person to get on. Everyone just went on the bus, ignoring me with my cane. And he sat directly into the disability seat in the front and would not get up. And I told him, hey, can you please move? I have a cane and I cannot stand. And he just puts his earbuds on and just ignores me.
He puts in his earbuds.
Yeah, sees the whole thing, ignores me, and forces me to stand the entire bus ride to our destination on a pinched nerve in my spine. And I was in a lot of pain, and standing is agonizing for me, very agonizing. So,
And depending on which bus route, some of those buses do a lot of pitching and rolling and sudden changes
lots
in
of
speed and direction and
I
bouncing.
fell a couple of times.
Yeah, which can be, for a pinched nerve or a bad leg, that
Yeah.
makes it much worse.
It is, and he didn't care.
Yeah.
He sat the entire time.
Yeah.
Everyone in the bus did nothing. They just looked on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, failing the civic spirit test.
Yep. They do not have the jong like they claim they do.
The Jong. Sujeong-san. I was thinking about going to Gyeongsan today. So this is the middle of the afternoon. This is what the crowds are like. During rush hour, you would probably find this entire empty area in the middle of the car full. And when it's full like that, as we were saying earlier, it's almost impossible to move around to get on and get off.
Yes, it is. Those are the ones I don't want to get on, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
it's just nothing but anxiety.
So you would reschedule your plans in order to avoid taking public transportation in the rush hour.
Yeah. Or take a taxi. I try to avoid it. It's impossible, but then again, taxi is more expensive, but at least I don't have to worry about trying to navigate through the system,
Yeah.
figuring out how to get there, and then being late.
But these are some of the other costs that an able person body like me just don't think about is, am I going to reschedule my whole plan for today? Am I going to put an extra 2 hours into my travel plan just to navigate the station? Or am I going to pay extra to take a taxi and maybe reserve a large taxi that fits my wheelchair?
Yeah.
These are considerations that, I just grab my backpack and go out.
Yeah. Well, I have to do everything you just said. And it's frustrating because if you want to arrive to your destination on time, oftentimes I never do. The most I've been late was an hour.
Yeah. And you left early for that one,
Oh,
too.
and I left early for that.
Yeah.
How early did we leave? We left an hour early, and it took us 3 hours to get to our destination.
Wow. Yeah.
I was very annoyed by that because I was trying to get there on time to visit friends who are like family, and they're preparing dinner, and I wanted to be there on time, and I still end up an hour late to dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't record the time. Oh wait.
Well,
What is
it's
the time?
counting. We're at 29 minutes and 51 seconds now
Okay.
from when I turned on the camera when you introduced yourself.
Perfect.
Women's University Station. So our next station is Seoul Station, I think. Is that right? I think so. See, we have the big map here, and the subway line 4 only map here. So we just passed Samgakji. We're at Sujeong, and our next stop is Seoul Station. These maps are very conveniently over the door if you're tall, but if you're not tall, if you're this tall, it might be hard to read them.
Yeah, it's really hard. I tried to figure out, and I couldn't read it, so I had to use my app.
Yeah.
But for people who are not from Korea, are not tourists, who have a wheelchair, they're stuck. They have no way of figuring that out.
Yep. And there might be an app, and how useful that app is, it might be variable from one station to the next or line to the next. And a lot of the time, to use those apps, you need to be able to read at least basic Korean
Yeah.
to get to the really useful versions of those maps.
Yeah.
Seoul Station.
Seoul Station's
Seoul
next.
Station is next.
We're going to position ourselves early so that we don't want to get people coming in and preventing us from getting out.
That's right. And we're crowd free, which makes it easier to move to the door.
But not for people who are trying to come in.
Yep, not for people trying to come in. We're going to watch for that gap once again. And for a gap, right today our man on the back is able to do the little push lift trick to get over a gap. But if you're in a powered wheelchair by yourself, you can't do that, and you might just be stuck. Or your wheel gets stuck in the gap and you pitch forward, and that's a bad situation.
Oh, yeah. There's no guarantee someone's going to help you out.
Yeah.
That's the other concern. You're stuck and no one's helping you.
Yeah.
And that has happened to me. No one helped me when I got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just watched.
There's a pretty big gap. You saw that gasp of concern. That was a very big gap. Yeah, that was bigger than at Sadang Station. That was a little anxiety spike, wasn't it? So now we're at Seoul Station, and we're going to try to get to the KTX platform.
Yes, we want to go to the KTX platform.
Because the KTX is the speed train that gives you access to the entire country.
Yes.
And the KTX also advertises itself as being accessible. So we're going to see how far we get to the KTX station. All right, hold the door open button.
So another problem that even if the door opens and I'm trying to roll in, someone has to hold on to keeping the door open for the elevator.
And now there's a carriage behind us, and there isn't room for a wheelchair and a carriage. There's no room for both. Sorry, go on, please.
And my fear is because it's set up where you have to keep holding down the open button in order for it to not close on me as I'm passing through. Because if someone above pushes the button, you want the elevator, it will close.
Yeah.
And then go down.
Okay, so here we are at the gate,
Not acceptable.
and there's a staff member here at the gate. Let's see if she can get through by herself. Okay, you got through by yourself.
That
There you
is the
go.
first time I saw an aid
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah.
First time. I've never seen an aid at the disability exit or entrance for the subway lines. First time. Normally it's just me opening it and trying to roll myself through. And it's like impossible.
Yeah. Okay. So again, we've got very light traffic here because it's the middle of the afternoon and it's a weekday. Nice clear signs for how to find the KTX. Signs for which exits to take, and also a sign for where the elevator is.
Line 1.
Line 1.
So the elevator to line 1 is in 335 meters,
Where the KTX is.
and
Not going to the airport.
one to the airport railroad is right over there. And the KTX sign is here, so let's see where it takes us. We got some lockers and a photo booth.
The elevator that they have located is not at all where we expected. It is actually outside of Seoul Station and quite a distance out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's again not convenient. And
Yeah.
that has added extra time on me, not expecting this, trying to navigate to get to Seoul Station, into
Yep.
Seoul Station, because the elevator is not inside it. I'm really outside of it.
And lots of wheelchair users have other symptoms, for example, fatigue or low energy, that
Yeah.
make it extra costly to be doing that extra movement and going the long way around to places.
Oh yeah, it's exhausting. But then on top of that, if you have a powered chair, this is more energy on that powered chair that they're eating up into their battery time
Mhm.
to get to where they need to go and then not make it.
Yeah.
Which makes me suspect that power wheelchair that's abandoned there, I think that's what happened
That's
to the person.
probably exactly what happened.
Because
yeah.
I don't understand why that's just sitting there in the
Mhm.
rain and sunshine, and no one touches it. It's just sitting there, and I'm like, whose powered wheelchair is this? I don't see anything going to it. Oh, wheelchair sign.
Got these nice wide ramps here. I don't see signs pointing towards elevators though. Oh, here we are. Here's our next elevator sign.
Oh yeah, this is too steep.
It's
So
too
for
steep.
a wheelchair or a power chair, it's too steep.
It would drain the battery
It'll
or
drain the battery.
exhaust somebody's arms.
And exhaust, yeah, somebody's arms as well, as it can be dangerous because if they're going down it, they would be going down quite quickly, quite
Right.
fast.
You
and-
can lose control of your speed.
Yeah, and hurt your hands because you're trying to slow it down from hitting anyone.
Right. You could get a rug burn on your hands.
Yeah.
Now we're at the KTX station.
So here's the KTX station. Where's the elevator?
Here's our. There are the big escalators, which even if stairs are bad, the escalators are right there. But if you're in a wheelchair, we need elevators.
There, 120 meters.
So we have another sign here,
120 meters to go.
120 more meters.
This means it's taking us outside of the KTX station.
Yeah.
We're actually going outside of the KTX station.
Yeah, from here, the KTX station is that way. So we're going farther away from the KTX station as we look for the elevator that will bring us to that level.
KTX station.
What I like to do with these big ads is flick them. See the ripple? I love that ripple.
45 meters.
75.
75.
45 is to go back to line 1.
No, that is
No, that's what it says.
bathroom.
Line 1.
That symbol is the bathroom.
We've got this bathroom symbol, 50 meters.
It says,
It doesn't say elevators here, but it has them
Keep going,
here.
elevators, this is-
oh yeah, there it is. Number 2, 40 meters.
Okay.
Here.
There we are.
No aid. This is what it's like most of the time I travel to places. It's like this.
There's no aid.
There's no aid.
Yeah, usually there's no aid. There's just a thing to get through.
There's an
And here's our elevator. Another very narrow entrance. Oh, get the door open button. And squeeze in. Just to get a sense of how small these elevators are.
I have to put my feet up a bit. I can't comfortably have it out.
There's basically enough length for a wheelchair and a person at the handles, and that's it. And how are you doing? How's your energy level? How's your?
I'm already exhausted.
You're already exhausted.
I'm so tired. Because we had to do a lot of the work when we came to Sadang.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we know,
Yeah.
I'm already exhausted from that.
Yeah. Remember that what we saw is these two going through a route they already knew. We got a big line, and we also have rain.
They're saying it's raining too much.
Are you serious? It's
나가야 돼요. 나가야 돼요. 나가야 돼요.
Get out! What the fuck is wrong with you? No!
나가야
Don't come in! You wait! Jesus Christ!
나가는 사람 기다려야 돼요.
I understand! I'm gonna get rained on too! Not my problem! We're all gonna suffer! I'm fucking believable!
Thank you. Welcome to Korea.
You're rude! Rude as fuck!
So they were going to come on whether we were getting off or not.
It's raining! I don't fucking care it's raining! Get the fuck off! What are we gonna do?
rain. We're outside Seoul Station. That is Seoul
This
Station.
is how far we are,
This is how far I am.
and this is the distance we walked underground
But I have to
away
now
from the
walk in
KTX.
the rain. That
It's
I have
140
to.
meters.
Yeah, 140 meters in rain because of the placement of that elevator.
Yeah, it's not
And also 24 rude people who, were not very polite.
They wanted to get into the elevator, but they didn't want to get rained on.
something.
Well, tough shit. Move so I can get out. And here I am, getting rained on to get to Seoul Station.
예수님 이름으로 축원합니다. 예수님 믿고 우리 함께 천국 갑시다. 할렐루야. 하나님을 사랑하십니다. 예수님 믿고 천국 갑시다. 날 듣고 나서 만든 우리 앞에 천국이 있습니다. 여러분 예수님 믿고 구원받으십시오.
Is there an elevator there? All right. Here's our next elevator. My hat is this wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere now.
That was
Jesus.
the kind of thing to suck away the rest of your energy.
This is what I have to deal with. And if I was by myself, they wouldn't give a shit. They would not have moved. They would all push me in and stuff themselves in.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't do anything about it because I'm stuck in my
You just
wheelchair and
have
I
to
cannot
take
get
the
out.
elevator down and go back up again while they're all saying whatever to you.
And then again, still in rain.
We're still going through rain. That's where the ramps are if you don't have the elevator.
Now I'm freezing because I'm wet.
Yes. Wet and cold and freezing and grumpy. Here comes the entrance to the KTX station.
Is the power chair still outside? I wonder.
Let's see, is it there?
Look, go this way. Look. Unless we're looking to it.
Where's the, yeah, there it is.
There's the power chair. It's still there.
There's the abandoned power chair.
For over 3 weeks now.
It's been there unclaimed for 3 weeks. Probably somebody just ran out of battery. So now we're on the So from Sadang Station to here was 47 minutes.
Yep, that sounds right.
And I think it was about 30 minutes when we arrived at Seoul Station, which means that it's been 17 minutes wandering around Seoul Station looking for that elevator and navigating rude people. And we're at the arrivals level of the KTX. The per ticket purchase and departures is a floor above here. So there's a elevator just around behind there, and there's another one over here. And you can buy tickets here, so you don't have to go to the second floor, which is nice.
What time do you want to leave?
Something that's between the rush hour times. So 11 to probably 2. Unless we're going to take a taxi.
So I'm going to pause while they're figuring out their tickets. So we're negotiating time because we have to make those calculations about getting to the station again.
Yep, and once I arrive to my location, I have to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to figure out the time from that station to get to the hospital.
Right, yeah.
Before it
출처에서
closes.
특실이 있는 거라서
Yeah.
같이 부모님도 특실로 가실 거예요?
네.
특실이 지금 매진이라서
It's also there for the wheelchair.
Are you serious?
그러면 다른 데로 찾아도 돼요?
So the wheelchair is sold out.
The wheelchair seats are sold out.
How many wheelchair seats are available originally? Can you ask?
12시 38분이요.
12시 38분. 12:38.
Okay, is that the time?
더 드려요?
네.
May I ask how many wheelchair seats are available normally?
그 휠체어 좌석가 몇 개 있어요? 그 열차에.
네?
그 열차 안에는 휠체어 몇대 좌석이 있어요?
In KTX, how many wheelchair
Okay.
seats are available?
I don't think she understood my question.
Huh?
I don't think she understood my question.
You doesn't understand the question?
I mean, I can look at the map tomorrow
I guess.
because they do have the map on where the wheelchair seats are. Usually, it's only on car number 2.
But it's only one.
Yeah, it's only one.
It's only one.
So just one of the usually 10 or 12 cars has wheelchair seating.
Only one.
Okay.
휠체어석이랑 조금 떨어지게 자리가.
The look on your face is about the look on my face too.
So my time is not my time. It is in the mercy of the time of able-bodied people. If there's no available wheelchair seating, I'm shit out of luck. I can't go at the location I need to be at the time I want. I have to choose a different time.
내일입니다. 대전까지 12시 38분 이게 휠체어석이거든요. 그리고 이거는 부분이 2호 차도 필로 드렸고요. 휠체어 리포트 신청하실 때 가운데 안내소에서 20분 전까지 신청하시면 돼요. 안녕하세요.
고맙습니다.
So basically, if we want to ride together, it's like your seat is discounted, but mine's not. So I paid the full price, even though I'm supposed to be helping you with the wheelchair.
Can you see that at the computer?
Oh, well, I got it, but
Got it?
Yeah, because you can see right here. So I'm paying $33,200, which is the first class seat. The wheelchair seat is discounted seat. That's $23,700.
Yeah.
So even if I'm traveling as your assistant, I still have to pay the full price.
So he has to pay extra just to assist me with my wheelchair.
because the wheelchair car is the first class car.
The first class car. And then before, when we were coming into Seoul, he was in a different car at the very end, and I was in the first class. And then we had to arrange the KTX workers to assist me with my wheelchair because Tommy could not come to help me. There wasn't enough time.
He wasn't there, or he'd have to sprint the entire length of the train in order to help you, which is ridiculous.
And dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to go from Seoul Station to Myeongdong Station where I'm at.
All right, let's give it our best shot. So now we have to go back to line 4
Oh, that's going to be shit.
In the rain.
in the rain. Yes, I think the word I heard was shit show. So we kind of saw, getting onto the elevator at one point, everybody moved out of the way and everybody was really polite. And, one person held the door open button. And then another time we got a crush of, I felt like I was in a zombie invasion.
And squeeze into the tiny...
Trying to squeeze in and not giving us a chance to get out, and then cussing at us because we were not happy at being mobbed like a K-pop star. So that's the full spectrum of experiences.
And then they're offended that I wanted to get out.
Yeah, they were offended that we wanted to get out.
They had to stand in the rain a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
They were offended that they had to stay in the rain a little longer, and I'm trying to get out of the elevator. No, they wanted to get in the elevator so they could get out of the rain. That was their excuse.
Yep.
And all of you could get into the elevator if you just let me out.
Let me get out. More of you will fit in. There's our elevator again.
Still, it's rain.
Yeah, it's still raining.
We're still in the rain. How are you doing? Are you still cold?
Yeah, I feel like absolute shit.
Mm-hmm. There's...
And by the way, after this experience, I'm going to pass out in my bed.
Yeah.
This alone takes a toll on my body, and I am out for the count.
Yeah, this has used up all of your energy. Yeah. Waiting for that elevator.
This can allow us to go down to B2.
Because we have to take 2 elevators
Yeah.
to get through the levels. It actually closes this time. Normally it doesn't work.
I heard somewhere that 80% of the door close buttons don't work on elevators.
Yeah, they don't.
They just make people feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I really like your nails, by the way.
Thank you.
Take a look at that. Yeah, look at that, eh? You're dazzled today. There's that smile.
So there is another elevator. They just
So there
didn't
is.
properly mark it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So here's the other
There's
elevator.
one inside the KTX station that they didn't mark.
The secret unmarked one. It's only for insiders.
Yeah.
Which way goes to line? There's our line 4 arrow.
Let's see if I can get my card down. Card ready. And this one has it has a gate on the side of it.
Okay, so we've got a gate over there. No aid, but a gate. I'm gonna go through here.
I'm out. I'm out of money.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to go to
It's right there behind you.
there's one right there.
I have to go to to get an order back. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, I went through too fast.
Yeah.
So, anything to add?
No,
Com-
it's,
like compared to a typical moving around in a wheelchair day, how's this one measuring?
this is normal.
This is normal
Yeah, this is how our experience has been every day of the trip.
every day of the trip.
Yeah, we've seen the whole spectrum. We have some people who are alcohol, we have some people who are assholes.
Yeah,
There's and well, pretty much every station is different.
every station is different.
There's
Yeah,
no standard.
yeah,
Sometimes you see an elevator, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you see an escalator, sometimes the escalator doesn't even move.
yeah. Or the escalator goes halfway, but not all the way.
Yeah. One of the strangest is actually at this station where there's a gap in the middle that the only way to get across the station is to take a bunch of steps down, then another bunch of steps up to get to the line.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. There are some. I mean, a subway system. Like you've got one bunch of infrastructure built on top of another, built on top of another. So there's always a little bit of sort of haphazard. How do we make these two puzzle pieces fit together? But it's pretty clear at some of the stations that accessibility, ramps, elevators were not a main consideration in those designs.
No, the only good one we've seen is at Seoul Station, but that's only because that's a newer station.
Seoul Station is the best so far. Okay, that's interesting to know.
It's not great either.
Not great, but better than the others.
Far better than the others.
And here we are, post recharge. How you doing?
All right.
You got it.
Okay, now let's clean up.
Oh, by the way, here's the elevator.
Oh, here's
Here's the elevator.
here's the elevator we need.
This has been out of service for who knows how long. It's been out of service for such a long time. Even before I left Korea for the USA, this has been out of service.
Before you left Korea for the USA, this was broken. And there's a nice sign in Korean only about what to do.
Look, and there's people who are also
There's a conveyor belt for your luggage, but not for. There's not a wheelchair ramp.
No.
Okay. Well, how about that?
Supposedly transfer elevators to the left. So let's see.
Where's our
These are all
elevator?
stairs that way.
Yep, this guy.
Yeah, here's our elevator information. Right here. This again, this is what you have to do.
Yeah, you can go all the way around.
You can't just go this way. You have to go all the way over there to use the elevators. All right,
So I have to transfer again.
we have to transfer again. Yep, now we curl around. This is the way we came.
Line 4 elevator.
And here's that ramp that was a little too steep. And you can see he's leaning his weight back in order to make sure the speed stays under control. The tension in his arms and shoulders. Yeah, and we're getting nervous.
Watch how I'm going to have to do it.
Watch what happens if we try to do it by ourselves. Okay, keeping that under control. No way, no way. See the work those hands are doing. Are they okay?
I hurt my finger.
You hurt your finger. Oh no.
Okay, here is the 310 meters.
So that's what a too steep ramp looks like. For anybody who doesn't know.
Still hurts.
Oh no. Are those gorgeous fingernails okay?
Yep, I must try it again. Going to the bottom, I do it myself.
Okay, we're gonna.
Stay close to me, close behind just in case.
Yep.
Show the crowd too, so you can see.
Yep. We've got another person here on a cane. We've got a lot of people just taking the ramp, you know, because. And if I have to drop my phone, I will drop my phone to make sure that that we get down safe.
Getting fast.
Yeah, getting fast. And you're using your hand like the brakes on my bicycle. Like that's just gonna, yeah, that's gonna rub them raw after a while.
Yep, that's if you're doing this every day.
That's it. Yeah. Well, if you're doing it every day, your hands will be so calloused and
And sore and swollen.
sore and swollen.
Or cuts, or bruises.
Mhm.
I get all of these.
And if you just put on hand cream and your hands go whoop.
Ah. So I don't use hand cream.
Yeah.
I just have dry, scaly hands.
That's right. I need them. It's occupational hazard.
Yes. Alright. So, line 4, it's saying this is this way.
Here's the arrow for line 4. It says this way. There's our gate.
Jesus, it hit my shin. That hurts so
All right.
And lo and behold, there's no way to get down.
What? There's no elevator?
Probably in the other side.
Ah,
It doesn't even make the there.
Where the other side?
no elevator.
There was none.
there's no elevator to get down from here.
We need to find the elevator.
We do need to find the elevator. Is it at the other end of the
So here
platform?
we are. They were advertising elevators. We were following the directions, and we can't find it. There's no elevator. There are only stairs. So here, extra time on my schedule that I was not wanting.
Yep.
Finding the elevator now through this labyrinth, trying to figure out how to get to the downstairs.
Yeah, the signs up here don't tell you either.
It doesn't tell me where it is.
Yeah, the signs
So we
were
have to
not
go back to
The
square one there.
signs.
helpful.
There. So
The signs
So we-
are
Oh, the signs were on the other side of the
other
pole.
side.
So that if you're coming from this way, you can see the elevator sign very nicely, but from the side we were on, you couldn't.
Yeah.
We already did our ticket, so we need to press the button because I'm not being charged again for their incompetence on time.
It might, I think because it's been less than 5 minutes, it just blops you through. So as you can see, from here, there's no indication. There's no indication of the elevator. Oh, there's one there behind the machines. So again, if you're coming from there, you can see both of the signs well. But if you're coming from there, you can't see them. You can't see them.
Yeah, there's no sign on that side.
Yeah, there's no sign on that side.
How many extra minutes did that just add on to our schedule?
That probably added 4 minutes just to this transfer. That was, yeah, totally unnecessary, just because of bad signage. Now we have elevator signs. So even if you know every elevator in the station, you still have to go all this distance. But if you don't know every elevator in the station, then you end up doing this wandering around mouse in a maze thing.
That's why I call the subway station a labyrinth, because it's really difficult trying to figure out how to navigate it just to get to point A to point B.
Yeah. Maybe one day you'll find a piece of cheese.
Or a pot of gold.
There you go.
Hopefully.
Here we go. This is the
Nice.
elevator.
Yeah, there's our elevator. Now it says there's an elevator up there, yeah.
25th is having the elevator on the outside
Mm-hmm.
to get to the location.
That's the exit elevator.
Is this the
That's
exit
the
elevator?
exit elevator?
Yeah, the inside elevator.
Oh, so that'll be
Well,
charged
let's go up to it and see if it goes down as well. If it does go down, oh, 죄송합니다.
There's an up elevator.
It's an up elevator.
Is it up only?
It's up. It's
So this elevator, yeah, it only goes up. So this isn't. So once again, we're losing what, 3 more minutes. Discovering another dead end.
because it's confusing. I'm like, why am I being charged again? I just went through
Yep.
so many charge stations to charge my car to check in.
Yeah.
So you have to go back to the same one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now here's the one that had the 8 again.
Yeah.
It won't let me do it. It's saying it will not let me go.
We're stuck again.
감사합니다.
the aide got us through. Now, did she have like a special card to swipe or something, or were you
She just pushed the full button.
push the top button? Okay.
But the thing is, if the aid wasn't there, it's up to me
Yeah.
to figure it out, how to get out.
Yep. Here comes some people with luggage. I'll hold the door open button. If you don't have someone to hold that door open button, things can get hairy.
They advertise on assistants.
Oh, yeah.
We have to call a number. Is this accessible? No, it's not accessible. We shouldn't have to call a number, waste more time for an aide to come down, set the thing up for the ramp to get onto the subway and off the subway.
Yeah.
It should already be like this automatically.
Yeah. And because of that wandering around, I think we missed our train. Yeah, Sujeong is going back towards Sadang. And this way, Huihyun goes towards Myeongdong. Yeah, so the other side is where you want to go. There isn't a clearly marked map somewhere around here of you're going this direction, these are the stations you'll reach. Watch your step. 3. The KTX sign we saw earlier. There's our wheelchair sign.
Wheelchair is not directly, they don't have any signs to show you the location. I have to really roll my wheelchair and figure out where the wheelchair sign is.
Yeah, there wasn't any marking except on the door.
And it's hard to find that when there's bodies in the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Only a few
Waiting
stations
for
have
the
the
subway.
markings on the sides. So,
Seoul, I think, is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, during our figuring out where the elevator is, we missed our train.
Yep.
And now we're gonna have to wait, I don't know how long, 10 minutes.
yeah. Well, this is a weekday, so it's every 5 minutes. But if it's a weekend, it'll be every 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, and if it's like after 9 p.m. or something like that,
Yeah.
then it's maybe every 20 minutes. And if you're out too late, you might be on the last train and not get home.
Yeah.
So missing that train on a Saturday night can be a really big deal.
Yeah.
There's our little, you can watch the tiny train get closer to the station, which is fun. It's like an 80s video game. You know, you want to see like a little frog hopping around. Burp, 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 burp. So Tommy was saying that what we've seen today is a pretty typical experience. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Pretty typical.
Mm-hmm. It's been an eye-opener. It's been a...
This is my life.
Mm-hmm.
During the pandemic, people were getting a taste of what it's like to be disabled when you're stuck in your home. If there's no public transportation to get you to places, you're stuck.
Yeah.
I can't legally drive a car because the medications I take can put me and other people in danger. And I don't want that, so I have to rely on someone to drive me somewhere. In the USA. In Korea, we have, I like to think, great public transportation, but not for disabled people. And the pandemic, people were going crazy about being stuck at home, not going anywhere, not being able to do anything. That is my life every day. On a daily. That's my reality.
Yeah.
And not just me, but a lot of other wheelchair-bound people who are stuck in their home.
Yeah.
Because, as you can see, this is not very accessible.
Yeah.
and I'd have to rely on someone to get to places, and even still, we still struggled.
And then every time you're planning to do something fun, you're kind of weighing the pain in the butt of getting there to the fun of being there,
Yeah.
and making a calculation rather than just saying, hey, I'm going to put on my shoes and go out and have a fun time.
Yeah. I have to weigh in my energy spent just to get to where I want to go, to my destination, figuring out how to do it, and then enjoying my time, and then doing it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And even with taxi drivers, they refuse service. I did Kakao Taxi. It was raining, pouring rain, heavy rain in Itaewon. And they accepted it. When they came, saw that I was in a wheelchair. We were trying to put it in the taxi. The taxi driver was like, no, 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 in the trunk. And we tried to tell him it doesn't fit in the trunk, and he still argued with us.
Yeah.
Remember that he is actually starting the meter on this as we're arguing.
The
about
meter
where
was
to
running
put
while he's arguing.
my wheelchair.
Yeah.
Where to put my wheelchair. And we proved to him it doesn't fit in the trunk. Showing you. He just says, cancel, cancel, cancel. And I'm like, but you just accepted. He's like, cancel, cancel. And I'm like, really? You're going to leave me out here in the rain
Stranded.
and strand me
Yeah.
after you just accepted, you just cancel, cancel. I took my stuff, he drives off, charges me as if he took me to my location.
Charge the fare anyway.
Charge the fare
Yeah.
anyway. And of course, because we were arguing and he started the fare, within that timeline, it looks like he did take us to my
Yeah.
location. He did. So I was left stranded in Itaewon in pouring rain, and I was forced to walk home all the way to Higuchon in HBC with my cane
Yeah.
by myself,
Unbelievable.
exerting my body in agonizing pain.
Okay, this is the one I really don't like.
So here's our
This one's at a different height.
here's our worrisome gap again. Look at that huge gap. Okay.
Every time I cross the threshold of the subway to the platform, I have great anxiety and I'm absolutely terrified
Yep. Yep.
of what's going to happen, of it breaking my wheelchair or me getting stuck or the doors closing on me because I didn't move fast enough.
Yep. All right. So we've gone from Sadang Station to Seoul Station. We've gone from line 4 to the KTX platform, and then back to line 4. Any final words to people who have been watching this and seen a view of the Seoul subways that they didn't realize?
Please fix this.
That's pretty good. Fix this. Yes.
Margaret Mead is a famous anthropologist who said, do you want to say it? She said, a great way to know a civilized society is based on how well they take care of their people. Those who are, what is the word?
Well, the situation is, so a student asked her, like, how do you measure civilization in the ancient past? And she said, a mended broken femur. Because in the Stone Age, like, if you break your leg, that's a death sentence.
Yeah.
But if there's evidence that people actually took care of this person, then that means that they've actually invested their energy into protecting their most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a sign of civilization.
That is the word.
Yeah.
Protecting the most vulnerable. That is children, elderly, and the disabled.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this experience has shown me that Korea is not civilized. It's not a civilized society. My own culture pretty much treats me like shit.
It's not taking care of, the disabled.
And they make my life miserable and so hard that I feel like crap just existing.
Yeah. Hurts to see it.
And oftentimes I don't want to leave my home because I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like I'm part of society.
Mm-hmm.
It's really frustrating and isolating and very lonely.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything about it. And the irony of it all is that just because you're not born disabled doesn't mean you will become disabled later on. Through old age, COVID, serving in the military, a car accident, or just an accident, autoimmune.
It can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with this.
This is the life you're living. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking us through this experience. And it sure is illuminating. And I hope everybody who sees this has something to think about.
Yeah, me too.
Addendum. This is the smallest elevator we've been on yet.
Now let me get off by myself. I can't even fit through with my arms to get off this elevator.
Okay.
Let me show you. You guys step out.
Yep.
지하 1층입니다.
So now
Yeah.
we need to go out backwards through a tiny, tiny gap. The hands barely reach. Yeah, I see a lot of pinched fingers right there. And this is, that's the smallest elevator I've seen. And that's what we've got. And here's our next elevator through the gate.
Alright, let me do it myself.
다시 대주세요.
See what it looks like.
Here's what it looks like to get through on your own when that gate is being wonky.
And then getting onto this other tiny elevator.
Another tiny elevator too. Shouting people on the other side.
In the back, so I'm sure there's space for people to come out. This is such a slow elevator. Oh my gosh. So also time waiting. Again, everything. It all is speeding up my time.
Waiting for elevators.
And
How many people getting
use the
off?
elevator. Again, tight fit.
Tight fit. I gotta suck in. I think it's still raining up above.
Yeah, it probably is. That's fine. Hotel's not far. Now you get to see how accessible my hotel is.
Oh boy.
Okay. Shall I get out first? You want to get out first?
It sounds like this guy wants to leave first, so just let him go. I don't want to fight today. I am in no mood. Oh, he's not reading. Yeah.
Hey!
안 오네 지금은. A power chair, this would be dangerous.
Yeah.
Power chair would be very dangerous because it easily tip over if it's uneven ground like that. And it's common in Korea. Everywhere I go, I've actually almost fell backwards
Backwards.
just going up the sidewalk.
Dang.
I think so.
Oh, and look, bikes all parked here.
Bikes blocking the way. Big mess of a uneven corner. I again, that's uneven enough for a wheelchair to tip over. Here's our hotel. Yeah, I'm
A
here.
hill.
We've got a
That
hill.
is the only accessible entrance to my hotel.
The delivery truck is parked right in front of it.
There's this hill. So I'm gonna go
Yeah,
up this
we've got a hill to get to the.
I can't because as you can see, if I go
Oh,
up,
jeez.
I will fall back.
Yeah.
Doing it by myself.
Okay. So
So-
we can't do this hill by
I
ourselves.
can't do the hill by myself, so Tommy's gonna have to take me. The hill is too steep for a wheelchair user. And look how it's uneven ground.
This uneven, super steep, wobbly ramp. And then a door.
Oh, and then they moved the block in my way, so they pushed this
The
here.
umbrella thingy
So
to
now I have to go around it.
obstruction. To the elevator.